I recently asked you guys what your favorite tracks are on Stray Kids' new album Karma, and over 240 of you guys actually responded. So we're going to go through and kind of look at what you guys had to say. I think the best song in my opinion is Bleep. The guys were so clever in their lyrics. Yeah, Bleep is really clever in the sense that they push swearing, or they get close to it, but they don't quite do it. And that's definitely the theme of it, where they're censoring what people are telling them and kind of censoring that hate out, filtering it from what they're thinking, and they're not necessarily letting people get to them when they're trying to tear them down, and they're filtering it through. Now, personally, I think that if they wanted to swear, they totally can, because they have in the past. They haven't necessarily used the actual words, but if they weren't allowed to, then they wouldn't be able to bypass it quite like that. So, interesting wordplay on this one for sure. I had guessed for In My Head or Mess to be my favorite, but Ghost totally won me over from the first time I heard it. I love this album so much. All the songs are special in their own way. I can see the kids' effort once again. They never miss. Yeah, In My Head, I feel like In My Head is kind of one of those where you either like it or you don't. And for people that especially were into like One Direction early in the 2010s, this is very reminiscent of that kind of style, or even coming off of late 2000s pop punk. It's kind of that style. In My Head is my favorite. It gives off these really comforting yet like get up, your problems aren't going to solve themselves vibes. Yeah, I feel like the lyrics are really interesting on this one because, like you said, it's not necessarily like an encouragement song. It's more so telling you to almost stop being lazy and actually do something with your life. I feel like a lot of the times we can get in our head about things, and that can cause us to procrastinate or tear ourselves down, and usually we're not actually being blocked by anything. It's just us, and it's fighting with ourselves about that. And it's an encouragement song in the sense that it's almost like a tough love. It's saying like, no one else is going to fix your problems except you. You got to do something. Laying around like that, like you're dead, isn't going to fix it. For me, Phoenix Has My Heart. I feel literally in heaven when I listen to this song. It takes me back to 2017, the best time of my life. No worse song for sure. Skids never disappoint. For sure, the song feels something out of 2017. It kind of feels like their earlier music, almost like a Awkward Silence or maybe even Insomnia, where it's kind of got that louder electronic feel, which was very popular back then. So it's interesting to see them running back to this song again, or kind of using this style again. I'd be interested to know when this was written, if it was more recent or if this was something they had a while back and just never used. Bleep the best song because I think it's the song that represents Stray Kids the most, and it has the same style as their older songs, so I liked it a lot. Yeah, I could see this being kind of similar to those older songs. I know, was it Han? I think it was Han compared the style of Bleep to Cheese, so it would make sense for it to be a little bit adjacent to that. And it's definitely got kind of that similar lyric theme, in the sense that I could personally not really see any other group except for Stray Kids doing a song like Bleep, where you got the little sample in there of that, which was a meme a couple years ago, and they're plugging that into their own song to give it meaning. I just don't feel like there's many groups out there in the industry that would be willing to use something that's otherwise cringy, if you will. And that really, obviously it ties into the song because they're not concerned with what people think. They're filtering it out and making it into the song that they want to release instead of the songs that necessarily people want to have. I love In My Head so much, but Ceremony I didn't like at first, but after some listens I'm now vibing with it. I didn't care for Ceremony either at first. I wasn't sure what to think of it. I think at first it sounded a little bit, obviously we really didn't hear much of it leading up to it. We didn't get much from the teaser. We didn't hear much of it from the mashup. We really only heard it with that second music video teaser, and even then they showed the second chorus, or the final chorus. So obviously it's going to taint that first perspective, that first idea. I saw someone else mentioning that the first verse where Changbin is rapping feels a little odd, and I agree, because I feel like the silence is going on for a little bit too much, and we actually see it done a little bit better in not only this song, the same song itself, but also in Thunderous for sure at the beginning, because they have this large instrumental leading up, and then it comes down to that silence, and then it comes back up right as Changbin is rapping. And I feel like the silence in the ceremony is just a little bit too long. Maybe it should have been just through the end of the first line. Choosing a favorite is so hard this time. Has to be between Ceremony, Phoenix, Bleep, and Creed. Though I absolutely love Halftime as well. Least favorite would be 0801 just because I'm not really into ballads, but still a great song. I think I would agree 0801 probably isn't my favorite on the album. It's not like necessarily bad, but it just, I feel like it doesn't have that special thing to it like the other songs do. Obviously you mentioned Ceremony and Phoenix, those definitely have their special traits to it, or Bleep, but 0801 just kind of feels like a song. There's not necessarily like a special hook to it. I feel like the main point of interest in it is the lyrics that are obviously meant to be an encouragement thing. Honestly, I think when they first showed the song like a month ago in that teaser, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like it like at all. It did not sound good, but it was very different. It was much emptier back then. The instrumental we have now is a lot fuller. My fave is Phoenix. If I'm being honest, my least fave is In My Head. The lyrics just didn't vibe with me, but overall, I really like the album. I could see that. I could see In My Head, like I said earlier, In My Head really is either you like it or you don't like it. There's not really much middle ground on this song, and totally understand not liking the lyrics on this one, because it does feel dated in the sense that it's using that old sound that was popular, but you really don't see it anymore. But I feel like Phoenix uses that almost nostalgic sound much smarter, if you will. I think all the songs are amazing, but 0801 is severely underrated. It's so cute and comforting. Yeah, I think 0801 is probably going to be the one that grows on me the most. I feel like this is one of those songs where you gotta have it in a certain situation to maybe fully understand it. And coming off of the album 3 days ago, I just haven't had that yet. So, could change in time. My fave is Ghost. It's just such a bop and relatable for me. And personally, my least fave is Ceremony. It's a very good song, and I've been listening to it a lot, but the first time I heard it, I wasn't sure about it. It took me a couple listens and seeing the choreo. No, I totally get that. I feel like Ceremony is kind of like a mixed up one as well. There's a couple songs on this album where it's different. I feel like Karma is very different from what they've released in the past, and it's not necessarily that they're looking for that Western market on this song. I don't think Ceremony fits a Western market very much. I think that Chick Chick Boom fit that a lot better. This song is a little weird. It definitely lines up with more of Stray Kids' older songs. Like almost, I feel like this is a little weird. It kind of reminds me of Maniac in the sense of how it's structured, right? I think a little bit of Maniac. Maybe I need to listen to them both again, but there's a little bit of that structure in the sense where it starts lower and then it goes up to something in that chorus. And for a lot of people, it takes a couple listens to fully understand or appreciate it. And I'm not sure where Ceremony will go for commercially. If it'll be a huge success or not, it's too early to tell for sure. They're definitely hoping it will be, given that they have 10 versions of the song, one of them being an English version. So, see how much it accomplishes. There's no bad songs, it's just me who got attached to the mashup versions of Ghost and Phoenix. Yeah, I was honestly surprised that they went so far out when they released the mashups, because usually it's a lot lower in the sense that there's not a ton of production behind it. It's usually the vocals with maybe one, two, three-ish instrumentals behind it. They're usually trying to prioritize the lyrics, and I was a little worried when I saw how produced that mashup was, because, well, it's not going to sound like that, and it's a lot of people watching these that might not fully grasp the concept that these songs that they're presenting are not going to sound the same. And with Ghost being such a big contrast, I mean, you got that Ghost was the chorus of the mashup, and it's very loud, very produced. But when you see the Ghost chorus of the actual song, it feels very empty. And I wonder if that's going to kind of change what they're doing with the mashups in the future. If because of how much of a change and how different of a perspective it gave people, I wonder if that almost gave off like a negative approach to the songs. Because what's hard is, as the mashups get better and they become even better of songs themselves, they get worse and worse at representing what the songs are and teasing them. Because at a certain point, you're teasing a song that isn't there. You're showing people something it could be, letting them wait with it for, what was it, a week? People had the mashup for, and then they show something entirely different. And that can kind of subvert their opinions and overall kind of adjust what people actually think of those songs. It's a hard place to be, because you want to improve the mashups, you want to make them the best you can, but you also don't want to dilute what the song actually is. Halftime. First off, I always love when Skiz include Spanish lyrics in their songs, however small. Secondly, like 3 just said in the intro for the album, the song is one that doesn't have an explosion moment. It just gets really high in tension and puts you at the edge of your seat and then tempers off. Similar to Creed and Bleep, it really gives off the signature Stray Kids coolness. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Halftime's an interesting song because, yes, as you said and as 3 just said, it doesn't build to some huge explosion like a lot of Stray Kids songs do. And people tend to really enjoy that and prefer it over different songs. So it's interesting to see them doing something that doesn't have that. And I mean, obviously, because of that, a lot of people aren't going to like it. So it's very bold in the sense that they're willing to put something that they like out there, and that there will be some people to appreciate it, even if it won't be everyone. And I feel like in that sense, it does allow you to connect with something or almost mix it up, because you're not forcing yourself to do every song with that big explosion at the end. It can still build something. It doesn't have to be an empty chorus. You can still build up to something and let that play out, but it doesn't have to be anything huge. Worst the Ceremony Festival version, because it makes me realize I need to hear that song live at a concert festival as soon as possible. Yeah, for sure. There's a couple of songs on here that I really want to hear live now. Like, for sure, as you mentioned, Ceremony Festival version. I think that would be really good for inside of an arena, which it totally feels like it was designed for. Chick Chick Boom Festival version was really fun live, so it's going to be interesting to see this one live as well, if they do perform it. My personal fave is Phoenix, and my least fave is 0801. Yeah, for me as well, I think Phoenix is definitely up there for one of my favorites. I think my top 3 are maybe Phoenix, Ceremony, and Creed. Those are probably my top 3. And like you said, 0801 unfortunately is towards the bottom for me, but I think I just need to give this one time, honestly. So we'll find out, maybe. Oh, this person agrees with me. For the best, I just cannot choose between Ceremony and Creed, but for the worst, I think Mess. But it doesn't mean it's bad, it just hits less harder than the others. No, I think I can understand that, because what's hard about some of the Han songs is he usually will write them in a lot of Korean, and in some ways, if it's very dependent on those lyrics, it's a very lyrical driven song, it can be a hard one to grasp as an English speaker. And without like that loud production like Get Lit, then it's going to be a little bit hard to feel it hit hard, if you will, because the hit hard moment is those lyrics. It is about, I mean, I've certainly looked at the English translations of it, and it's about that feeling of someone pushing you away, not giving you quite the exact amount of attention or love that you are willing to give, and feeling like you're messed up in the head. So it is totally a hard one to connect with without that lyrical connection. Bleep, 0801, and Creed are my personal faves. It's a solid album, but I didn't love Ceremony. I feel like Bleep or Creed were much better candidates for the title track, for sure. Even in terms of performance, I feel as though the choreography doesn't have as much of a killing point as I expected the dance to have, but the album overall is very good. You know, I've been thinking this. I feel like Ceremony doesn't have, like you said, a great dance moment. It doesn't have like an iconic piece to it, if you will. A lot of Stray Kids choreographies have something. Like for Maniac, for example, it's got that hand move where you're hitting your head, you're screwing the screw in like you're Frankenstein. And for Chick Chick Boom, you got the gun motion where you stack your arms and then shoot out. Or even Thunderous, you got the spits. God's Menus, you got the chopping. You shoot up in the air and you cut down. But for Ceremony, there really isn't a great one. I feel like the main one they were going with was, I don't remember where I saw it, but they showed that one pointing gesture and then they go to the side of their head. But that's not that interesting, if I'm being honest. Like, okay, how is that related to a ceremony? Maybe. Anyways, I don't think I agree with you though about other songs being better title track candidates. I think of all the songs on the album, I do believe Ceremony was their best choice for this. I think that Creed and Bleep are great songs, but I don't think they would have carried that title track energy quite as much as this one does. But look at one more. I loved Bleep, Ceremony, Halftime in my head the most, but am I the only person who didn't like Creed? I feel like some of you are lying that you like this song, but I just don't get that song at all. Yeah, no, for sure. I think the vocals on a couple of the strings or the verses are a little interesting. Like, for sure, I felt like Bang Chan's voice felt a little different on the chorus. Like, it almost doesn't feel like him. It felt a little goofy, and I didn't care for it at first. I didn't care when it was unveiled. But after I heard the actual song a couple times, it grew on me. So I don't think you're that crazy to think it's a worse song. When you have favorites on an album, there are always going to be worser songs to you. For any song, there is always going to be a song you dislike the most. Because if you have a favorite, it's always going to be one down at the bottom. Whether or not how good the album is, always there. And Creed being there, totally fine. I understand. Creed definitely leans into that louder hip-hop feel with very minimal lyrical portions where they're actually singing. It's definitely there to tie it together as a Stray Kids song. I think that without it, it definitely would feel much different to what Stray Kids have shown us if it was just a loud hip-hop aggressive song all the way through. Have they ever released a song like that as a full group? I'm not sure they have, because I know obviously 3 Racha, the self-titled track, is more hip-hop and rap, but they definitely don't have a song like that as a full group, I feel like. Bounce Back got close to it, but it is still in its own core a Stray Kids style song where Seungmin and Ian are singing on it. But anyways, what do you think of Karma? Is it one of your favorite albums of Stray Kids? For me, I'm not sure. I'm still a little mixed on it. Thanks for watching. Bye 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 bye.